Hey everyone, and welcome. If you own a trades business, you live and die by the upfront fixed price, right? But does your marketing agency play by those same rules? Today we're going to dig into why marketing budgets so often feel like a total gamble, and more importantly, how you can bring some of that hard-earned certainty back into the equation. So let me ask you this. Does this feel familiar? You pour money into marketing, you cross your fingers and hope for the best, but you're never really sure what that final bill is going to look like, or what results you're even going to get. It feels less like a smart business investment and a lot more like you're just rolling the dice. You know, it's kind of funny, isn't it? In your world, certainty is king. When you go out to install an HVAC system, you give that homeowner a fixed upfront price. They know exactly what it's going to cost, and you know exactly what your profit is. So why does all that certainty just vanish the second you start talking about marketing? And this slide, man, it just lays it all out, doesn't it? On one side, you've got your way of doing business. It's built on clarity, unknown costs. And on the other side, you've got the typical agency model, which so often feels like a black box of vague quotes and, worst of all, surprise bills. I mean, these are just two completely opposite ways of thinking. So why does all this uncertainty actually matter? Well, it all boils down to one single crucial metric: your cost per qualified lead. We'll call it CPL. This is the real price you pay to get a good phone call from a real potential customer. And when your marketing costs are a moving target, your CPL becomes totally unpredictable and pretty much impossible to control. All right, so where is all this uncertainty coming from? The source material we're looking at today points to three super common agency pricing models. Let's pull back the curtain and see exactly how each one of these creates risk for you and inflates that all-important CPL. Let's break these traps down one by one. First up, you've got the hidden hourly rate. This is where that low monthly retainer you agreed to is really just a starting point for a never-ending stream of extra bills. Then there's the percentage of ad spend model, which, if you think about it, actually encourages the agency to spend more of your money, not necessarily spend it smarter. And finally, my favorite, the super vague custom quote, which is often just a maze of line items designed to confuse you about what you're actually paying for. And look, don't just take my word for it. This quote from the source material absolutely nails it. This isn't just some small annoyance, it's a significant pain point. It literally transforms something that should be a strategic investment for your business into a financial liability that you just can't predict or control. Okay, so we've talked a lot about the problem, but what's the fix? What's the antidote to all this chaos? Well, the source proposes a really simple but incredibly powerful solution it calls the WYSIWG promise. And it's all about flipping this entire script on its head. WES is WYSIWYG. You've probably heard that acronym before, right? It stands for What You See is What You Get. And in this context, it is a promise, a commitment that the price you are quoted is the price you will pay. Period. No surprises, no hidden fees, none of that. It's about taking the tradesman's model of certainty and finally bringing it into the world of marketing. Now, this isn't just some pie-in-the-sky idea. It's actually backed by a real tangible tool. The source calls it a master service rate card. I want you to think of it like a public menu of services, where every single item has a fixed, non-negotiable price right next to it. This is the document that makes that budget clarity a reality. So how does this actually work? How do you go from a fixed price to a predictable return on your investment? Well, the whole model works in two super clear phases, and they're designed for both that initial stability you need and for long-term growth. And here they are. It's pretty straightforward. Phase 1 is a one-time foundational investment. This is where you build your lead-generating machine. Then, Phase 2 is the monthly growth engine, a fixed retainer that keeps that machine running smoothly and helps it expand its reach. Let's dig into the details of Phase 1. So for example, building a high-conversion website made for a trades business has a fixed, one-time price. Just think about that for a second. You know the full final cost before a single line of code is ever written. This completely eliminates that nightmare scenario of getting hit with surprise development bills that just obliterate your budget. The exact same idea applies to something like a big SEO audit. These are fixed investments, not wild guesses. And that fixed number, that's the most important part. That number, $79.50, it represents a fundamental shift in who carries the risk. Instead of you, the client, taking on all the risk of a project going over budget, the agency takes it on. They are guaranteeing the outcome for a set price, just like you do every single day for your customers. And the result of that shift? It's a really powerful one. You can literally see it on this chart. You move away from that tall, scary, unpredictable red bar of a vague pricing model to the much shorter, stable green bar of a fixed investment approach. The goal is exactly what you see here, a lower and, more importantly, a predictable cost per qualified lead. All right, so you've built the foundation. Now what? Now we move to phase 2, the growth engine. This table shows how those fixed monthly retainers cover a very specific scope of work, like a set number of blog posts for local SEO or a certain amount of social media management. This ensures your costs don't just spiral out of control as your business gets bigger. You know exactly what you're getting for your money every single month. So what's the bottom line in all of this? What does it all come down to? It's about giving you, the business owner, the one thing you need most: total budget clarity and complete financial control over your marketing. So this model really delivers on 4 key guarantees. You get no hidden fees, period. You get a predictable monthly budget that you can actually plan around. You get a clear formula to calculate your return on investment. And maybe most important of all, you get long-term stability for your cost per qualified lead. At the end of the day, the message from this source is a really empowering one. It's a call to action. It's for you, the trades business owner, to stop accepting all this uncertainty and start demanding the exact same clarity from your marketing partners that you provide to your own customers. And that really just leaves us with one final critical question to think about. When you look at your own marketing spend right now, is it a predictable asset that you are in control of, or is it an unknown liability that's controlling you? The answer to that question, well, it makes all the difference.